behind on the latest. I signed up for auto delivery, so I don't miss out.
I'm so bored with what I got. I really need to freshen up my wardrobe.
Shopping trip!
Can you relate to that? Maybe, maybe not. Get this though. As a society, Americans now, on average, are living in a house 3 times as large as they would have occupied in 1950. Let that sink in and then think how good we are at filling up all that extra space. No trouble at all, is it? Easy. And the storage, the personal storage industry now runs to 2.2 billion square feet. We get numb to all the stuff we have, what with cheap labor and 24/7 ordering opportunities online, and just that general feeling things aren't going to run out, there's plenty. It's frightening how fast we turn over the stuff we have. And that's just the physical clutter. Our lives are weighed down with shoulds and expectations that hold us captive with a frantic pace to live and mounting debt to accumulate. We need to find a less crowded way to live. On now, you know the drill. Take it off, put it in a pocket, put it in your purse. It'll be waiting for you when church is over. You've got a cell phone, turn it off. This is an hour just for our souls to be in this place, to relax together. And if any of that is hard, I hope it's getting easier. If it's still hard, notice the feelings, think about them when you get home. This is important that we develop that ability to be free in the time we've got, to give ourselves to God. Once you've got your watch off and your phone away, join me in our opening prayer, which is in the bulletin. God of open spaces, we are choked, clogged, and cluttered.
Let us make room for you.
Draw us into this time of worship to assess our real needs.
Let us find room for you.
Help us clear out our hearts to find room for holy desires.
Let us be room for you.
In the name of Jesus, who invites us to wholeness.
Amen.
Good morning. Please stand as you're able for our opening hymn, number 53, Morning Has Broken.
Praise
don't hear them yet. We'll hear them when they're on the way. Maybe they're busy. Yay! Hello up there. Hi. Come on down. While they're coming down, you know that little slip of colored paper in your bulletin? Once again, I want to give you the chance this morning, if there's anything that's been on your mind that would prevent you from being 100% here, grab a pen and write it down, and the children are going to collect those and put them in our worry box so that we can just let God worry about them for this hour. Hi, Emily, is it your turn to shake this? I bet it is. You want to? Okay, give it a good old shake. Michael gonna help? Okay, Michael gonna do it. Okay, everybody. Okay, let's hold it up high so everybody can see. Can you feel yourself kind of calming down like that? We've been practicing different things, different ways about calming down. So, do you want to give it another shake too? We're going to give it a shake. Yes, good. Okay, that's good. All right, now that should definitely do it. And can you feel it? Right. Putting those slips of paper in the worry box, that's another thing we've been doing. We'll do it in just a moment. And then last week, do you remember? Somebody want to hold it?
It's my turn.
It's your turn. Oh, whose turn is it? I don't know. Oh, everybody's turn. We'll divide the church up into different sections so everybody can do it. How's that? Do you want to start, William?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. You can be next, okay, Emily? Right. And last week, do you remember we did a thing called 5, 4, 3, 2, 1? Do you remember what we did? 5 things that you can see, and 4 things that you can feel, and 3 things you can hear, and 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. And when you've thought of all those things, it's amazing how you're just absolutely right here. Yeah, that's a really good thing. I have another one today, and this is for the grown-ups as well as you guys. I'm wondering who noticed when they came in this morning that the chairs were not right. Right. Really? Are you the only person who didn't notice? Well, it used to be your job to notice that. Jim, did you notice that the chairs weren't quite right? No, you didn't notice. Where's Bob?
He's
Bob,
writing.
did you notice the chairs were not quite right?
It's awful heavy on one side than the
Exactly.
other.
Exactly. Gosh, maybe I'm the only person. Then I'm going to introduce a level of worry into our worship, and it'll never be the same for you. The chairs are not right. And I'm not sure how it happened, because we're the only ones who have been in here this week. I don't know who changed them. But it's supposed to be armchair, folding chair, armchair, folding chair. Look, there's 4 folding chairs in a row. Who did that? I don't know. I had them all right last Sunday. And the other thing is, you're supposed to stand where Annika's standing, right here with your back to that crack in the door. You're supposed to look at the fireplace, and the 2 sides are supposed to be, that's the center aisle like that, and we're way too far this way. Now when I came in, the choir, they saw me move 1 chair from the end of the row and put it over there, but then I thought, no, you guys need to know about this. I'm going to tell you this. So I put it back the wrong way that it started. And then the other thing that's bothering me a lot, I guess I do. I like the rows curvier than this. This is too straight for me. And it's not, the curve isn't facing us this way, it's facing us kind of this way. You see what I mean? It's not right. Yeah? And you guys are laughing at me, and I get that. This is obsessive. But those Sundays when you come in and it's just right, I'm sure that does something good for your soul. I am absolutely sure that if you're sitting in the church and all of that is just right, there's part of you that, because this building, when it's just right, it makes you feel like God is right here. Yeah, okay. Now, guys, do you clean your rooms?
Yes.
Yes, all the time, right?
No.
Do you like to clean your room?
No. It depends.
Okay. What does it depend on?
If it's tickets.
All right.
Money, a few
Okay, so sometimes there's a reward. Yes, I agree, that would make it much more fun. But when I clean my room upstairs is a little bit messy right now. When I clean my room and there's nothing sitting out on the tables and all the stuff from the desk is in the drawers where it belongs and the drawers are all neat, it makes me so happy. And it does something like, you don't have to worry about all that stuff, all that fussy stuff. It's like, you can have ideas. You can think of brand new stuff. I think if your room is clean and everything is on the shelves and in the drawers where it belongs, you can think, what shall I play with now? And you might have a brand new idea, or you might play with something you haven't played with for a long time. I think it's just really great. Your mom didn't even shout, do I get a reward? Yeah. Well, I don't know if anybody agrees with me. I don't know if this is helpful at all, but that's where I'm at this week. Now it's time to put the stuff in the box, and we're all going to greet one another. And this week, when you say hello to your neighbor, why don't you ask them, what's cluttering your life today? Okay, can you do that? Now, let's see, William, do you want to do these people? And then Emily can do those people, and Michael, you can do the choir. How's that? Okay, so William, you're first. Gather up the little slips of paper. Everybody's going to shake hands. Do that. The peace of Christ be with you all. What's cluttering your life?
Jesus Christ.
She says you had shingles too? I didn't know that. I've known a number of people who've had them younger than us by far, and it's been serious. So I heard she had them, if I don't know.
Because I had them in a snowstorm, and I was, I think, into the third day of it before I realized what was going on. So I could get antivirus the third day. She got them the first day.
Yeah, that's what she said.
But she, mine.
Where's the rash? It can be anywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
One guy had it in his eye, and he never really recovered from that.
Yeah, I do know that some people, even after pass the pain, my doctor said, that happens. We can give you drugs because we don't have to go on the drug withdrawal. But I'm okay. It didn't happen to me.
Let's sing our spirit song. I'm the soloist today. Here is a secret I never have told. Maybe you'll understand why. I believe if I refuse to grow old, I can be young till I die. Well, I've known the fears of 56 years. I've had troubles and tears with a score. But there's only one thing I'd trade them for. It's 67 more. Oh,
I lost my place in the script and forgot the announcements, so if we can backtrack to that, there's some important things to say. The first is that there's a greeting card on the table over there. This is about 3 weeks ago, Scott Elnis was in church. Remember that? He's sitting over there. Scott was somebody who grew up from a little tiny guy in our congregation, and he's moved away. But he was here, and he told us some news that today is the last Sunday that his brother Eric's congregation is worshiping in their old building. And next Sunday they'll be in a brand new building, which is on a campus. There's the United Church of Christ, and there's the mosque, and there's the synagogue. It's a really bold sort of experiment in interfaith living. So I gather they'll be worshiping in their separate traditions, but then doing all kinds of other things together, the service projects and the community life, they'll be doing that together. Wow. And so I thought it would be great. I mean, since you guys brought Eric up, right? He learned everything he knows from you. That we should send him a card to say, good work, guy. And congratulations to the congregation. So that's what the card is about over there. It's for Countryside Community Church in Omaha, Nebraska, to say congratulations, and we're thinking about you in a really exciting new venture. There's a sign-up sheet on the bulletin board if you're able to host someone coming from across the mountains to the annual meeting of the United Church of Christ Conference. And that takes place the last weekend of April. So we're looking for beds for the night for Friday, April 26th. And that's all they need is a place to sleep. Their meals, transportation, all of that is fine. They just need places to stay. So if you can do that, sign up and we'll send in names together. The announcements for the week are on the back of this insert in the bulletin. Today after worship, we're going to gather around the fireplace for an update about putting solar panels on the church roof, some new information to share. And then you've got time to scoot home for lunch and come back. At 3 o'clock, the Google Seattle Chamber Music Players are performing. The Brahms Violin Sonata they're doing is, I think, one of the most beautiful pieces ever written. And there's Mendelssohn, and there's Telemann, and there's Beethoven, and Barb's going to sing, and it's going to be great. Jim's playing his flute. So, 3 o'clock. Freeway cleanup next Saturday morning. Right, and then next Sunday, you see a couple of the committees are meeting, sort of squishing their meetings forward, because after that we're into Holy Week, Palm Sunday and Easter coming up. New members. We will be receiving new members into our fellowship either next Sunday or the Sunday after. If you are interested in that and would like to have a conversation, that would be fantastic. I need to talk to you. Then, one great hour of sharing. I was overwhelmed. We collected $2,300 last Sunday. It's got to be an all-time record, and I thank you so much for your generosity. This is disaster relief money. And the thing that moved us last week was the news about the terrible flooding, especially in Africa, but in our country as well. And there's been more flooding this week in Iran. Did you hear about that? Just a couple of episodes of 15-minute rain and whole communities totally flooded and thousands of people displaced. This money is very much needed. So we will receive that offering again today. Maybe we can make it to $3,000, and that would be twice as much as last year, which would be very exciting. Right, women's breakfast. Suzanne Sanderson, our old friend, has moved to Anacortes, and she invited us ages ago to come up and have breakfast with her sometime. So we're going to do it. We're going to do it in tulip season, April 13th. If you think about that, see if it's free on your calendar. We're going to want to take sign-ups so that we can arrange carpools for that day. And then, as I say, we're into Holy Week, Palm Sunday, the Seder dinner on Good Friday, and Easter Sunday is April 21st. Those dates, the services will be in next week's bulletin. Anybody else have an announcement?
Hi, I'm Peggy. This is just a tag on to one that Roberta said. She talked about hosting someone for the conference annual meeting. And I just wanted to say, if there's anyone who's ever wondered what happens at a conference annual meeting, this one is in Bellevue. And it's much less expensive than going to Yakima or going to wherever. So I'll be going, representing the church, but if there's anybody else who'd be interested in going, let me know. I get reimbursed by the congregation, and I'd be willing to split that with somebody. So it wouldn't cost very much. Thank you.
Hi, Dave Davis. This is about Bible study. We've just finished Romans. We meet on Thursdays at 6 p.m. in the upper room and have been for 26, 27 years now. And we're going to decide this Thursday, the 4th, what we're going to study next. So if you've just been secretly dying to participate in Bible study, but have not yet mustered the courage to do so, this is your chance. So please come this Thursday, 6 p.m.
Thank you. I think we're there. Take a deep breath. Let's just settle ourselves and prepare to listen as Elter reads to us from Scripture.
The first reading, can you hear me? Good. The first reading is from Luke chapter 12. Jesus said, "Do not keep striving for what you are to eat and what you are to drink, and do not keep worrying. For it is the nations of the world that strive after all these things, and your Father knows that you need them. Instead, strive for his kingdom, and these things will be given to you as well. Do not be afraid, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. Sell your possessions and give alms. Make purses for yourself that do not wear out, an unfailing treasure in heaven, where no thief comes near and no moth destroys. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also." The second reading is a poem by Jean Murray Walker entitled "Clutter." I am finally down to what I need. One table to double for eating, writing, one pen, and enough alphabet to spell your name when you choose to disclose it.
Those of you who like to stay current with the latest cultural trends will know about a TV show that appeared on Netflix at the beginning of the year. It's called Tidying Up with Marie Kondo. Anybody watching that? There are 8 episodes in season 1. They all follow the same script, more or less. Somebody's house is heaving with stuff. The desperate owners cry out, "Help, Marie!" And in she comes. Now, she's Japanese, and she only speaks a little bit of English, and so right behind her comes her interpreter. She's a little tiny slip of a thing. Her smile is the biggest thing about her. And she comes in and she's bobbing up and down in something that Japanese might just about recognize as a bow. And she's giggling nervously until you want to just grab her and hold her still. Say, "Stop, just stop." But after that, things get serious. She invites the owners to show her all around the house, every nook and cranny, garage, everything. And she casts a professional eye over all the overflowing bookcases, and the sink full of dishes, and the stacks of boxes, and the clothes bursting from the closets. And then she chooses a special spot in the house. She explains that she needs to connect with the spirit of the house. And she kneels down on the floor, and she closes her eyes and folds her hands in her lap. At that point, the owners are always standing there looking extremely embarrassed. Once that's over, she's all business. She tells them what's going to happen. She gives them a ridiculously difficult assignment, and she leaves. So maybe it's the bedroom. They're supposed to take every single item of clothing out of their dressers and their closets and stack it all up on the bed at the same time. And then they're supposed to go through it one item at a time. One shirt, one jacket, one sweater, one pair of socks at a time, asking whether it sparks joy. If the answer is yes, then that item gets to stay. If no, there are plastic bin bags waiting, lots of them, ready for stuff that's going to go to the Goodwill. Now, sometimes people have trouble understanding the question, what do you mean sparks joy? Just a sweatshirt. Marie says, she gets kind of mysterious about it. Don't worry. Just start doing it and you will understand. So midway through the series, episode 5 or 6, there's a man sitting in his garage. He and his partner are doing a major clear out because she's pregnant and they've decided they want a clean start for when the new baby comes. He's supposed to be discerning between items that spark joy and those that don't. He reaches for a dented metal mailbox, the kind that hangs next to a front door. He explains that it originally hung on the first house that they bought. And it brings back memories of buying the house, how it felt to be the first in his immigrant family to own his own home. He's never used that mailbox, and he has no intention of using it, but it turns out he's got a complicated emotional relationship with it. Marie comes back, and he asks her, what do you do with an object like this? Marie gently asks, so have you decided that this is an object you want to bring into your future? And immediately you can see the man, he relaxes. He says, no. He says, when you put it that way, I definitely don't need this in my future. So he thanks the mailbox for the role that it's played in his life, and he sets it aside. Now that's a key thing in her method, to thank an object that you're going to pass on. And before that episode ends, we get to hear him unpacking all his feelings about the mailbox, but it includes what he feels about his parents and his past and what it means to him to become a father, all inspired by that one object. And you begin to see that while Marie Kondo invites us to change our relationship with things, something deeper is going on. She explains it in her book. When you put your house in order, you put your affairs in order too, and your past. You put it all in order. I found the program addictive. I was really disappointed there were only 8 episodes. I hope there will be more. But I've just figured out the reason. It has shone a new light for me onto a teaching of Jesus that I always struggled with. Now in this church, we've got a lot of different approaches to faith. It's about having different backgrounds, different experiences, different encounters with holiness, different ideas about God, certainly different grapplings with traditional Christianity, all its trappings. But we come out united in one promise. We all covenant that we will walk with each other in the Christian way of love and justice. That's a strong statement. It's a strong kind of glue to hold us together. Gives us a solid foundation, even as we continue wrestling with what exactly we believe, and not least about Jesus. We may see things differently, which is the joy of being our kind of church. But we all meet in that one place, our commitment to the way of love and justice that Jesus exemplified, that he taught. That's not exactly the same thing as following Jesus, which is maybe a relief, because anybody serious about following Jesus would need to contend with the passage that Elta read for us this morning. Sell all your possessions, give the money to the poor, travel light. What matters, he says, is treasure in heaven. All the rest just gets in the way. Where your treasure is, Jesus says, there your heart will be also. Now it's clear enough in one way, and especially when you think there he was on the road wanting people who would just follow him. They couldn't be dragging a lot of stuff along with them. So for that particular context, it makes sense. But what kind of treasure is this exactly? Where is our heart supposed to be? What does it mean for us? That crazy quilt up there, the second one from the left, was made by my grandmother's mother, my grandmother on my dad's side. I knew my grandmother. She was very old-fashioned. She was kind of starchy. And when she came to visit, we had to be good the entire time. But she was also very kind. She was artistic. She bought me a watercolor set one summer, and we sat in the backyard with a vase of flowers on the table. She was teaching me about the shapes and how to do it, and I was hopeless, which makes the pictures that she painted that I now possess all the more precious to me. I've got several of them hanging up in my office, so come see sometime. Now, I never met her mother. Her mother died before I was born, but look at that quilt. There's something so vibrant and joyful and brave in it that even never having met the great-grandmother who made it, I can feel the power of her spirit in my life. I can feel a connection, like she's challenging me to be vibrant and joyful and brave too, in my way. If Jesus is telling me to sell that quilt and give the money away and concentrate on some other kind of treasure, that just baffles me. Because what I feel every time I look at that is spiritual energy and spiritual beauty that anchors me in my own spiritual life, which is pretty much what I understand treasure in heaven to be. Marie Kondo is on my side. It sparks joy, doesn't it? She asks. And I say, yes, my soul says it. Yes, it does. And she says, then find a very special place for it where you can look at it a lot and enjoy it. And I say, amen. And I understand, I think, that the joy she talks about is not trivial. It's not just about cheerful, pretty things. So when my brother died, I put a photograph in the church newsletter, the two of us, little tiny kids, playing together. It hurts to look at it, yeah, but it's absolutely essential to who I am. I would never want to part with it. Now, if our house burned down and all those family photos were gone, that happens to people, I could go on. I'd survive because the reason people do survive disasters like that is that the physical things are only reminders of the real treasure which is inside, right? The love that made us who we are. We get to keep the love, regardless of what happens to the actual possessions. Don't keep them, Jesus says, where thief can steal or moth consume. But I wonder if it isn't okay to keep them as well, as long as we're clear about the love that they're really about. In the meantime, the pressure to continue acquiring stuff is relentless, right? Usually it's some advertiser trying to seduce us with pictures of shiny new things, the latest improvement to something we already have, or images about how transformed our life will be if we just get this one more thing. But sometimes the pressure to go shopping is more direct like that. Do you remember after 9/11 when President Bush went on TV and asked all of us to express our faith in our country by going out and buying something? Remember that? I remember. We knew where he was coming from. In the shock of the 9/11 experience as a country, we'd gone into a kind of paralysis, and the economy was suffering, and that was a kind of downward spiral. That was going to make a lot of other things worse. Consumer confidence can't be allowed to waver in our country. Too much depends on it. So though it was kind of an appalling thing to hear our president say when there were so many other things that might have been said at that moment, you knew why he was saying it. One United Church of Christ minister got up the next Sunday and talked about it in his sermon. I am not criticizing the president, he said, but I'm going to suggest a little twist to what he asked us to do. How about buying a package trip to Disneyland for a family of 4, if you can afford to do that? Plane ticket, hotel, meals, tickets to all the rides, and giving it away to a family that otherwise would never get to go. Or how about pulling out your credit card and going and buying a brand new car and giving it to somebody? And needless to say, his congregation sat there in shock. But can't you hear the gospel in it? Isn't it what Jesus would say? We all know we can accumulate stuff till it buries us alive. And some of us do that. Some of us have a lot of stuff. Maybe underneath it's because we feel naked in a world that is not a safe place to be. Our stuff is like a giant security blanket. We surround ourselves and build the wall thicker and thicker in hopes that someday maybe it will feel like enough. Or we worry about a future in which we might need it. That's my downfall. This thing, I don't need it now, but maybe someday it will come in useful. And then taking up space in the world is reassuring. If we buy enough stuff, maybe we'll know who we are. Or it may be more directly emotional. The last purchase was disappointing in the end, but surely there's going to be joy in the next one. I get all those things. But emptying out the clutter literally lets the fresh air blow through. Clean shelves, open spaces, a few genuinely beloved possessions, each one in its place. And then our spirits can breathe. Take away all the props, all the barriers, the protective padding, the insulation, and we discover ourselves and people next to us to love. And maybe, should the occasion demand it, we could even get up and move to some new place we're supposed to go, which of course is what Jesus was on about. We can make ourselves available at a moment's notice for the work of the kingdom, instead of spending our lives bogged down in maintaining all that stuff, the endless maintenance it requires. Friends, spring is here. And if it makes you itch to clean your nest and get everything back to pristine order, go for it. On the outside, it may look like a physical task, but actually it's spiritual. It's digging your way out so that you can lay hold with a grateful heart on the treasure that really matters. Amen.
Silence is a friend who claims us, cools the heat and slows the pace. God it is who speaks and names us, knows our being, touches base, making space within our thinking, lifting shades to show the sun, raising courage when we're shrinking, finding scope for faith begun.
Oh God, be with us in our relationship with things. Forgive us for the way our consuming burdens the earth. Help Help us let go of all the things we have to prove and learn what makes for true fulfillment. Help us to seek your kingdom of love and justice, which is the real treasure of this world. And as we do that, help us push back against all the other shoulds that dominate our lives. In this place and in this moment, we hear your promise. I know your every need, you tell us. Let go of your worry. From the midst of our plenty, O God, we pray for those who don't have enough. We pray for everyone whose cheap labor makes our bargains possible. We pray for everyone involved in this cycle that has us all imprisoned. The advertising industry constantly seeking new ways to hook us. The culture of competition with its handful of winners and its many, many losers. All the stuff we've got that can't be fixed because we're just supposed to throw it away. The way kids suffer when they can't have the stuff that everybody their age knows they're supposed to be able to have. Oh God, have mercy. Help us to set one another free. We pray for all the people we've named, their medical struggles, struggles of watching loved ones die, and the financial challenges and the changing lives. We pray for them, we pray for ourselves, supporting them. We pray your peace for everyone who is anxious or fearful today. We pray your healing for our world. And we join in the prayer of Jesus. Your offerings for the work here and for that disaster relief all around the world will now be received. number 614, 614. I'm going to live so God can use me. Discover the more of less. May you release the striving in favor of the relishing. May you find true treasure and share it with joyful abandon. And may you be reacquainted each day with an unhurried God who is calling you to dive deeply into love. Amen.